everyone, welcome back. It's Annette Green here, and I got my junk journal out. I need to play in here a little bit more. It's really kind of finished. I've got all these extras that I'll show you in just a minute that need to go in there yet that I've done videos on. But today's video is the last little bit that's going to go in my junk journal, and that is all about postal ephemera. And maybe we'll make some bookmarks like this. So I played around with those and I made a couple of bookmarks, and I got some other things here, little postage ephemera that I can play with. So I'm going to take you through several ideas on making your own postage stamps like this, and give some suggestions of wonderful products that are out there and different ways to try them. So let's get right into it. Okay, and if you have followed me for a while, you know that this is my junk journal, and I have many videos regarding my junk journal. I have done so many. I made a playlist, and it is called Junk Journals right here on my channel. I have done gel printing with masks. I've done tea bag collage. I've done collage tissue paper. The hidden paper clips, of course, some pretty specimen cards, my version of specimen cards here, and some altered playing cards. There's a video for each one of these, so just kind of explore that playlist and check that out. These are very fun to make. But some of these can hinge into my book. I just don't have them in there yet. Some of these things can go into pockets. And of course, if you wanted to see the whole thing from start to finish, like a flip through, you could do that. I got a video. I'm looking at it, junk journal flip through and tips on starting your own. That's another video in that playlist. Okay, so making some postage ephemera, bookmarks, however you want to use it. There's a number of ways you can do this. So that's what I want to show you today. And first and foremost, if I can find it, hold on. Okay, first and foremost, we have a wonderful die with Elizabeth Craft Designs, designed by Esther Glass. The die is a big one. Look at all this on here and more on the back. It is 2176 postage stamps strips. And that's exactly what you get. You get the strips, you get all these fractions and circles, and then all these different options for the actual strips. And when they cut out like this. So here's 3 out of the 4 different styles. So it puts that cool perforated edge on there. And of course, you could leave it like this, mount it onto some cardstock and make it into a bookmark. Or you could tear on these little perfs, and it looks just like a postage stamp edge. So this is a really quick and easy way to get that effect, just like that. So that's pretty great. This one has the taller option. This one is a little skinnier, taller option, and you can see I've already started to stamp. So that's the other part of this great set from Esther, is there is a coordinating stamp set, CS372 Postage Stamps 1. And I will link everything below, of course. And you can use my links to get 10% off your entire order, not just these items. So if you ever forget to click on a link and you get in there and you're shopping on the Elizabeth Craft Designs website, just use my name, Annette Green. All caps, that's your discount code. It does the same job. So anyway, here is a wonderful stamp set with all different sizes, and as you can see, I've already done some in this size, and some of even the bigger ones you can use. You just have to mask it off. I used like a post-it note. Okay, and then from here you can color them, you can ink them, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, if you wanted to mount them onto cardstock and make it into a bookmark, that's what I'm going to do in just a minute here. But yeah, you can really play around and have a good time with this. And so if you're going to color it, I would stay away from alcohol markers, and I would first ink with some sort of permanent, like archival ink. It could be any color. I use black here, and then I will use water-based markers to color this in. Something about alcohol markers and archival ink don't jive, at least for me, but I think that's a common thing that we all know now. Okay, so that is one way, one easy way. Get the stamp set, get the die set, you're all set to go. Okay, another way to go would be just to cut yourself out a rectangle, and you can do this at the end after stamping and coloring or first, doesn't matter. There are Fisker scissors out there, or some kind of brand of scissors that do like a nice postage stamp kind of edge. I've had these forever, so I'm not even going to try to link them because I know that this particular one is not available, but there's some that are very similar. So you just have to get out there and type in like maybe postage edge scissor, something like that. But these are Fiskars, very old, for Teresa Collins. Used to have 2 in a pack. But there you go. You have a nice postage stamp edge, and you can, you know, mask off the inner part if you wanted, and just color the outside edge and then stamp whatever you wanted in there. I will do one of those to show you what I'm talking about, but that is an easy option if you have some scissors like that. Okay, and the third option, and there's probably more, but I do have a die set. This is one of my first ones that came out, gosh, now it's 2 years ago, number 2026 postage stamps. And so you can see there are 4 different sizes. I use these all the time. I mean, this is my most used stamps die set because it's so versatile for picture frames, for ephemera like this, making little postage stamps, all kinds of sizes for card making. But you see that you have the postage edge on the die, and then you have 2 like mats to go inside. So that's a really great way to start, and then you can use all kinds of stamps that you have in your stash already. So that's what I'm going to show you also today. I'm going to show you all 3 of those ways to do it, but you can see you can make really big ones, medium size, and then this small one. Now what's super helpful is, besides grabbing all your stamp sets that you have and finding images that you love, you can also find stamp sets like this one. Now, let's see if you can see that. This is the Card Maker Special of mine that just came out in the early part of September. And I did just check the website, ECD, and it's still available. There are very limited quantities left, but it's part of a big kit. So it has all these dies, front and back, beautiful. It has a little inspiration sheet, and then it has this wonderful stamp set. And in the stamp set, what I'm trying to point out to you is all these great postal things. U.S. postage, Postal, first class, approved, you know, the cancellation little liney things, a little circle, 5 cent, 2 cent, 10 cents. All these things can be used, and now you can use different colors. So if you stamp your image in one color, you might want to do this in red or blue, or, you know, whatever your theme is. So you have a little more creative freedom kind of doing it custom like this. All right, and one more thing, just in case you didn't know, I do have another new paper pack. It is called Beautiful Bounty, and on here is a border page. I mean, it's all this beautiful paper. If you haven't seen this, you can certainly go on YouTube, go to the ECD website or YouTube page, and I have a video there sharing this whole collection, the whole Beautiful Bounty release. But what's cool is on this particular page of borders, do you see all these here? Those are mushrooms with dictionary background and all that postal stuff already on there. So I designed them specially to fit my postage stamp die. So you can put that one directly on there, or you can use that small frame like I showed you, and then cut this out of a different color for the outer border. But what's also fun about this page is this row up here of all these beautiful vintage flower images. You can do the same thing, cut it out with the little frame, take it over, get your stamps out, and start doing all that little cancellation stuff. So we're going to make one of those as well. Okay, so let's go back to these, and I'll stamp a couple, and we'll color a few. So if I'm working with the big square one here, there are definitely some in here that are perfect for that size. And so I'll pick one of those Again, I think I'll use my black VersaFine. A nice dark brown would be good too, because it has that kind of vintage look to it to be brown, but this will do, and this fits right inside of here perfectly. Okay, so I'll let that sit for a second. But let's say you wanted that image, but on this size, like going this way. Well, that's where I would take a Post-it note and just kind of mask off those little cut lines. Now I think the height is okay, but let me check it. Yeah, I don't need to mask off the top and the bottom as long as I can see through my block. Now this one, because we turned it on its side, you probably wouldn't want it to be sideways in your bookmark, but you can definitely do it that way as well. Okay, let that one dry. And then if I were going to color one that's already dry, I would grab my Elizabeth Craft Designs watercolors over here. Got my little palette. I have a water brush with water in it already here, and give my colors a little bit of a spray for a second. Now, of course, you can use markers to do this, but I have a little more control, and I like the lighter wash of using the water brush or a paintbrush with this because, you know, markers sometimes, it is what it is. You can't thin it down. So I would rather play it safe and have a little more control with some watercolor. So let's see, I'm making sort of a like a burnt umber. I don't know. It's like a yellowy, vintagey yellowy orange. And so let's say we wanted to use, it doesn't matter, let's do this one down here. So you can just do a little wash in here around the image. Maybe don't color in everything that same color, but just do a little wash. And I would let that dry before I'd move on to another color. Okay, and I'm finding, just to have a cohesive look, I'm trying to stay with the same colors. So this red that I used for her bow down here, I put a little of the same red in her flowers there, this bow on her, maybe the flowers in her hair. And then that way I'm not switching all the time in my different colors. I can do all of one color. And this is especially good because now you can let these colors dry before you move on to the next one. We've got our nurse here. Maybe we'll just do this airmail circle with the red. And we can do the background of this one with red. Why not? It's a nice orangey red. It's not too bold. It's not too pink. So it's kind of nice. Okay, and then our little boy, maybe we'll make his, maybe we'll do this circle thing over here, just like before with the other one. And we'll get some other colors in there. But I'm going to stay with very kind of soft neutrals like this one. And I'm not going to introduce like a bunch of blue or purple or anything like that, or green even. So I'll finish those up next. Okay, so I've been having some fun coloring. These are dry, but I did want to show you one more thing because, so for example, if we pick this one and we tear it out, it's very nice, especially if we ink the edges. This is a little vintage photo. I just want to show you an alternative to this. So this is fun. This is great. Looks wonderful. But you can also put a little bit of an edge on here that doesn't have color. And I said that at the top, and I thought, you know, that sounded a little confusing. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is take a Post-it note, and I do have to kind of hold it to the light to make sure I'm straight. I could make a pencil line, but I'm basically trying to mask off a straight line just inside of those perforated lines. So 4 post-it notes. You could make a really cool little mask, like window if you wanted, with some paper. I'm going to just do this really quick. So if it's not straight, it's okay. It's just for demo purposes. But we're going to use that same stamp of those 2 ladies just to kind of show you some variations. So that's pretty straight. So we have that. And we'll ink it up again. I'll use black again. Okay, and hopefully my head won't go in the frame here. And this works if you have an image that goes, you know, beyond those areas. So actually, let's keep those there. That's the whole point. So if you wanted to color this now, let's say we just do 1 wash of color. Okay, and I just took my heat tool just to kind of dry that a little bit so we don't smear it. Let's see, at this point, because we're just going to use 1 color, do we really need to have anything like, well, we don't want to do green because we're going to go over these ladies' face. So let's just use that vintage photo again, just for an example. So we're going to come in. You can add color like before if you want to the ladies' faces, color them in, but I just want to give you an idea as an option. And we could leave them black and white, that would look cool. But you can see by putting those post-it notes there, you sort of masked off that area. And so now when you tear this one, and there's our first one, remember how the color went all the way out to the edge. This one to me looks a little bit more like a postage stamp because you have that edge kind of masked off and now it's a frame. So either one of those is really nice, but this one is my favorite. This is what I would do. Okay, so that's cool. Like that a lot. Just another option. And of course you could do that with all of these if you wanted to take the time to do so. I believe there was someone on the design team, and I think it was Mary Claire, that took one of these solid stamps. Perhaps this is how she did it. And she used the back side rather than like stamping this frame. She used this to stamp, I think. I don't know. But it gave that same effect of color inside. Basically the whole area. Okay, so this is a very tall, long bookmark. I probably wouldn't use this whole strip, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take off, I hate to do it, I think we're going to take off these bottom 2 and this top, just that top edge. We're going to leave it like that. Okay, I can use those on something else. It's not a total waste. So what I have here is a strip of brown cardstock, and so I can adhere this onto here now. And by the way, the paper that I used here, nothing fancy. It's just something I had from the office store. It's sort of like a parchment resume paper. So I'm going to flip this over and really push that down because it's a little curled from all the watercoloring. Okay, and then we can cut off the tips up here so it looks like a bookmark. Let's see. This is my little corner chomper thingy. Yeah, that's cute. I use the medium one here. I'll link to that if that's still available. It's a 3-way corner punch, so you never have to guess at that part of it. And then we can trim off the bottom. I mean, you can really dress this up and go crazy, but I'm just doing sort of a basic bookmark. And then you could put, punch a hole, put an eyelet here, which is probably what I'll do. Some nice ribbon, something like that, or some twine. But that's pretty cute, right? Okay, and now this other option is the one that we cut with the little, you know, Fisker scissors, just out of the same paper. And if I were doing this one, I would do that same, you know, mask it off thing. Just about 1/8 of an inch. And we'll pick a different stamp this time. I know that there's ink on some of these, but it's dry, but that one wasn't sticky anymore. Okay, so that one's ready to go. Now this is where you can grab any of your stamp sets. I'm going to grab my honeybee from last spring. Actually, first release, and we got a bee there. We've got some honeycomb that could be fun, and maybe something from a different set, like just a little leafy thing. So this is Bloom. I'll pull a little leafy thing from. And this is great to pull out all those stamps that you haven't used in a while. And I'll just get those ready. So let's see. Honeycomb first. Why not? Let's get this kind of straight for you. So let's see. Let's use something a little lighter than black. Now this is where you can really have a lot of fun with colors, selection, and changing them up. I have grabbed Sand Dune, VersaFine Clair. I'm not even going to use a block. And I'm going to do my honeycomb. Does it matter? It's my stamp, I should know, but I don't think it matters. I'm going to go this way. So I picked Sand Dune because it's really light, kind of faint in the background. Perfect. Give that a second to dry. And I've got my bee and I've got my leaf. So let's do the leaf in Portobello. I'm purposely picking colors that aren't super duper dark. And I think I'll just put this over here in the corner like that. And then I grabbed Acorn for my bee. Now I will put the bee on a block because I don't want to get that all over my fingers. So Acorn for the bee, we'll put that over there. Okay. Now we can grab that one stamp set with all that postal stuff on it from my Card Maker Special. Okay, so I got a couple of those mounted. I just need a block for this one. I'm using these really big blocks for these little tiny things, but that's okay. Okay, so keeping that masked off, we will do a little postal cancellation over here. And maybe this little circle. And this is the beauty of masking it off because you can go off the edges. Okay, and then we had Postal. We could go up the side with this one. And I mean, we could put one more thing in there, but is it necessary? We could put a little more leaf. Let's do that. Just a little bit, like to fill that in. Okay, that's good. All right. Now we can peel these off. Ah, wait a second. Let's get that back on there. Because I think what I want to do is do a little bit of that vintage photo. Just softly around those edges to really let that stand out. Okay, now we can peel it up. And okay, a little crooked, but take your time if you're doing it to make sure that your Post-its are nice and straight. But you get the idea. It's pretty nice. Custom, cute, fun. Okay, and then a super simple one. We're gonna take the little frame from my postage stamp die and pop that right onto one of these already created postage stamps in my paper collection. Then I have another one here we're going to do a little bit to it. Okay, perfect. All we need is the little frame, which would not be the color that I would use. It's not bad. It actually kind of matches. But this would be very cute once we get it inked and everything. So there's that one. Now let's do this one. And you could do all the stamping first and then cut it out, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one out. Okay, and then we will cut out sort of an olivey green outer part. For that one, that'll be pretty. Okay, on this one, we're going to go, instead of black, we're going to use Morning Mist, which is more of a gray. And I picked a couple different stamps. This one says approved, so we'll put that down here. And we picked 5 cents this time. This little circle has an airplane in it. Put that down there, and then we'll use the same squiggly line one up there. I mean, it's that easy. It's so fast. And then ink the edges and you're good to go. Okay, that's how they look, inked up and pretty as can be. So if I was going to make a bookmark out of those, I would just need to make maybe 3 total of these because they're kind of tall. If you think about it, that'd be a good size bookmark. But I might do 4 or 5 of these in a row so that it looks more like this. I did put a little eyelet in there and some twine on this one just so you can see it. So I'm going to take some time to play around and then I will show you all the finished ones when I get done. Okay, well, this is how they finished up. You've seen this one. And this is my nature one. Had a lot of fun with that. And then this is the one from my paper collection where I did the stamping on there. Really fun little bookmarks. I have all these little extras up here I can play with. And I was just getting ready to clean up and I thought, well, I didn't really talk about the Christmas stamps that I had out. This is my festive season, and you can always make, like, these are large, but you can always make these for fun. You can pop them on the front of a card. You can use these in a Christmas junk journal, which is something I really want to do, and I don't know if I'll have time, but eventually I will. So you can do that as well. So I hope you liked the project today. I hope you give it a try for sure. And if you do, tag me on social media. All right, everybody, thanks again. I'll see you next week in the next crafty video.